Howdy folks, welcome back to Faded Paint Garage. Today we've got my dad's 2005 Ford F-150 with the 5.4 in the shop. Recently he was on a trip with my two sons and they broke down, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours from where we are here. They were on a little 2 or 3 day trip and the truck was acting funny, kept shutting off, check engine light went to fail-safe mode. And thankfully they were able to limp it into a town and stay the night. So what I did is I just loaded up my Crown Vic on a trailer, hauled it to them. That way then they could continue their trip, and then I hauled this truck home. Thankfully when I got there to go pick it up, we were able to start it up and drive it on the trailer. And I was able to start it up and bring it here into the shop. But the codes it's throwing is a P2104, a P2111, a P2112, P2135, P2121, all related to the throttle position sensor from what I can tell. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And the throttle position sensor is this guy right here. So from what I've read is go with a good quality replacement. So we're going to go with the Ford Motorcraft here. I'm going to hope to do this without taking the throttle body off, but just in case I did grab a throttle body gasket here. That's just a Felbro, it's like a $5 gasket, so grab that just in case. But otherwise I think that's all a guy needs to get the throttle body off and put back on, is that technically you probably don't even have to replace it. It's a, you know, if the factory one's in good shape, but cheap to do, so do that. There's the part number on that guy in case you need it. So the trick with this, from what I've been researching, is Ford put way too much Loctite on these tiny little bolts. You can see little, so this comes with the replacement set, thankfully, but they put way too much Loctite on them and they're prone to break off when you remove them. So the trick is, and it even includes it in the instructions, is to heat the areas, of course, around where the threads are. It says to heat it to at least 130 degrees. Should take no more than 30 minutes, or the 11 how. Anyway, there's instructions on warming it up and then removing it. It tells you not to use any impact guns to remove it, which I don't think I will either. I've seen guys other videos that do. I'm a little paranoid about that, because if they're going to break, they will break with an impact. But again, the impact also helps break it loose. So do what you feel is best. I think I'll avoid impact gun. So where this is on the engine is right up here. So you got your air intake, and then right behind that, right there where that plug is where we're going to try to get at. So another method I've heard of is using a solder gun and just taking the solder gun and putting it right on the tip of the bolt head there and warming it up that way. That's a pretty clever idea. I might actually try that, because I'm going to do it on the truck and I don't have a lot of space here. So we'll see. I'm going to get my tools out and see how much room I have to work with. See if I can get, you know, a good position to get in here and do it without taking the throttle body off. I'm just being lazy, to be honest. Taking the throttle bodies off is easy. This stuff comes off real easy. Then there's a couple electrical plugs. You got to take this guy here off, of course, the throttle position sensor TPS connector. And then you've got one down here for this. I'm not positive what that guy is. And then here on the air cleaner. This has got some kind of add-on that was on the truck when we bought it, but we've never plugged it in, so it's some chip pre-program or something. I don't disregard that. We don't use it, just sitting there. So so I'm gonna get my soldering gun, I'm gonna get my tools and see what this is gonna be like to get in there, and we'll see if we can get it off without taking everything else apart. Here's the tools we're going to use. So I've got soldering iron, and I pulled the tip out and reversed it. So instead of the pointy side, we're using the blunt side. Figured I'd get better heat transfer to the head of that bolt. And then we've got a T20 Torx on a 1/4 drive extension. That extension's about 10 inches. No, it's actually 6. 1/4 drive ratchet. I've got a wobbly head, but I don't know if you'd actually need that. The other thing I've done is unhooked the negative side of the battery, turned on the headlights. That way we're draining the ECM, PC, or whatever while we're doing this to clear all the codes in the system. So we'll give that a try. So the first thing we'll do is get this little airline thing or vacuum line out of the way. So I'm just pushing down on this little green tab and then pulling out on that. So don't want to break that. It's kind of rigid too, so it's rubber, but like a hard rubber. And this guy, I think we push down on that like that, and then there's up. Oh, it's already so up, and then we'll push in. There we go. So that's interesting that that was in the up position, and I think it's supposed to be in the down. So maybe this has got an aftermarket deal on it. We'll find out. That would be interesting to find out. This has been replaced, and that's why it failed, which is, I guess, doesn't matter. So I've got my soldering gun warming up over here. A little PSA, try not to burn yourself. These things are hot, and they'll turn your skin white like right away. They don't mess around. It'll get you. So we're going to get this lined up on here like that, and then I'm just going to stick this soldering iron on there, and then more comfortable spot there. I know it's a little hard to see, but basically we're just setting it on there, letting it warm up. Maybe if I can get my stuff together here. Oh, it's already turning. Yeah, I'm suspicious about this already, which, I mean, it doesn't hurt my feelings, or it's breaking off, I guess. That's another common problem. So let's see if that just comes out of there. I know that would be kind of a cheat to not have to go through the struggles you guys do if these come out easy. But I'm not going to complain if mine come out easy. Just trying to make you feel a little bit better. So that's pretty cool. Let's see if the one I can't see is the same way. I noticed this guy looks a little bit different, but I lost my thing. Style-wise, I'm going to unplug the solder here before I burn my arm off here. Hold on, I've got it sitting out here on the fender, and I just know I'm going to hit it, and I don't want to scream on the camera here. Burning's not really my hobby, so I'll get this out of here. Alright, let's try this 8-inch extension. I'm just kidding, it's like 4, 3, I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna just lightly, yeah, it's coming. So I think this has been replaced. But to give you an idea, since it's got the soldering iron out, and I do think this is a good method. I think this would work. The guy can get, yeah, you can get right in here with this soldering iron and get on that head as well to warm it up. So definitely recommend trying that. I got off easy apparently. Good for me, I guess. Although it did cause all considering it stranded my family, and I had to go to them in a 6-hour trip. But, so I guess I paid my dues as well in a different way. So get this guy out of here. Okay, let's take this guy off. So it just pulls off of here. And we'll take a look at it. Let's see. What do we have here? We've got a PBT-GF30. I don't see... Oh, what do we got here? We got some markings. I'm just looking for like a brand or something. I'm not seeing anything, so... Interesting. So let's grab our new one. So here is the new Ford replacement, Motorcraft. So full MoCo on it. I don't know what that stands for, just kidding. Yeah, these definitely look different. So Again, I don't know what the factory one looks like, but I'm gonna guess it was more like this one than that one. But I've also heard they changed the styles, so I would have just thought there'd be some kind of Ford stamping on this. So, and the fact that it came out as easy as it did, my money's on this as a replacement, and it's failed already. Of course, I don't know, maybe it's lasted a long time. So anyway, we'll get this guy put on and go from there. We'll use the new screws to reinstall it, which already comes with Loctite on it, so no need to reapply. Want to make sure that goes on in the same direction, which is, let me look at that for a second. So I thought there might have been a discrepancy in the orientation of this to the one it took off, but this just has like a 180 range of motion. So I just took a screwdriver and lightly kind of twisted it around, just finding out where the stops were, and then I put it back to where this one is. So I don't think I have any concerns with that. Just make sure it's aligned on there correctly. And going back on. It's got a little tab here as well. Goes into that hole. There we go. Didn't want to seat down real normal, so be careful. Just ease it in there. So let me get these going. They're lined up. Make sure we get her good and cross-threaded. You don't need a Loctite if you cross-thread. That'll keep it from coming back out. I don't like that. That feels snug already. It must just be the Loctite, speaking of cross-thread and stuff. Okay, let's get the other one in there. All right, now we'll snug her down. All right, so I'm just gonna snug it on both sides, or this side, and snug it on the other side, and I'll come back and snug it a little bit more. Just be careful. Give her a good snug. There's torque specs on it, I think. So you can torque it if you want. I'm just gonna give it the good snugging. All right. So the torque spec's 27 inch-pounds. So since I've got a little torque wrench here, might as well do it right. Not like those engineers know what they're doing. If I get it back in here, let me grab my longer extension. Get me where I need to be. There we go. Look at that. I'm so good I over torqued it. So something to think about, you know. Sometimes the old hand method ain't the best, but definitely when in doubt, torque it out. Or, you know, break a lot of stuff off and realize why it's important to torque things. There's that. If I can get it in there, my word. Struggle bus. Oh, I got it and then I lost it. Come on, that's not supposed to be the hard part. There we go. Okay, that one's good. 27 inch-pounds, torque to perfection. Alright, we'll get her plugged back together. So this plug goes in here, just reverse order. Goes on there, red plug goes down. Little vacuum tubey thingy goes in there, down and around. Cut that up, back up. So that was painless. I hope you guys have as good a luck as I had. I know some of you won't, so you have my best wishes. I don't know if doing this with a heat gun from on top would work real well. Just that backside embossment would be really hard to get on without melting the intake and everything else. But this solder gun idea, I think that's a trick. So a soldering iron. So if you don't want to take your throttle body off, give this a try. Again, not a big deal. Take the throttle body off. You can use the heat gun. Once you got on the bench, sky's the limit. That's pretty easy. I was just trying to do a shortcut here to save some time and effort, and hopefully that's paid off. So we'll hook the battery back up and see if this thing will start up and see if it'll be happy. Let's see if she starts up. Well, that's always a good sign. For what it's worth, it'd probably run without that thing plugged in at all, but let's see if it's got any throttle. Oh yeah, she's got some throttle. Oh yeah. Well, I guess that's good. We'll have to take her for a test spin. Well, that wasn't too bad. Again, I hope you had the same luck I had. One thing I will mention is I went ahead and did a little research on this guy, just out of curiosity, because there's just certain things a guy needs to know. And I looked up this number here, and I didn't find much. AliExpress or something like that, AutoZone, and then an eBay auction. And the eBay auction was selling this as OEM Ford Motor Company, but they weren't showing it in the wrap or anything. But it looked just like this out of the box. So you know, it is what it is. I guess if it's being sold to you as being OEM and you're trustworthy, then you know, can't fault you for that. But I usually like to look for stuff that's actually in the Ford Motorcraft or the Motorcraft packaging, and if you get something that's not in that packaging, then your mileage may vary. But I'm confident this thing's aftermarket junk, but it lasted this long, I guess. So hopefully this one lasts longer. Don't have to do that again. But I'll take it for a test drive. Otherwise, I think we're done for today. And thanks for watching.